Brodes Media.
I got one thing on my mind, and that's Dak Prescott in Dallas, and the Cowboys are playing well. And in years past, we were on the side of playing teams that weren't maybe necessarily great, and our rebuttal as a city was we can't control our schedule. All we're doing is crushing and killing opponents that the league scheduled for us. What else can we do? Well, I'll keep that same energy because for everyone saying Dallas hasn't beat anybody and their only win against a team with the winning record happened to be the Seattle Seahawks, who are barely an over 500 style of team, they're no juggernaut. Yeah, but what can they do about it? They're going out there and they're playing good football. They're beating teams heavily and grossly. You know, like, I don't care that it's the Panthers, Jets, Giants, Rams, Commanders, Patriots. They have one job to do, and that's make a statement against these teams week in and week out, and they are putting up 40 points, putting up 30-plus points. Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy, in my eyes today, are more in the MVP race than Jalen Hurts is after what happened against San Francisco. Now, one game could sway that heavily. If Jalen Hurts goes into Dallas, throws for 300-plus yards, no interceptions, no fumbles, throws for 3 touchdowns, and maybe even sprinkles in a push-tush, a tush-push for 1 extra, and now he gets 1 on the ground as well, well then, yeah, I'll change that narrative. But as we sit here today, I think Purdy and Dak Prescott are above him. There's no sugarcoating this. The passing game right now, defensively speaking, with Sean Desai and all these new added pieces, have been a disaster. And now you add Shaq Leonard. So let me get this straight. There were a lot of problems roster-wise. You go pick up Roby. Remember, Zach Cunningham wasn't there from day one. He was there earlier on, but I'm just saying he was added. Maybe we remove that. Maybe that's unfair because he was added so early before everything kicked off. That fine. But Roby, Leonard, and then Byard, and now we're hearing this team talk about miscommunication, and there's problems with talking out on the field. Well, no shit that they can't communicate properly. They're all new, and they're all getting thrown into the fire. Roby hasn't been very well. All right, I don't think that he's really moved the needle for me aggressively. Byard's been disappointing, and I don't know what Shaq Leonard is. I know I'm not expecting him to be in his prime anymore, but maybe with the front that the Eagles have, can they be so aggressive and so dominant that it allows Shaq to play with some freedom? I don't know. I just hope that his smarts and his knowledge and just so much information that he has, that good, smart football IQ, can have him at least way more sound than anything we've seen with some of the linebackers that have been thrown out there. And right now, unless anything changes with my tone, and it might, because I do feel myself inching closer to positivity, even though I'm not there yet. I feel like I'm going on those airwaves and I'm asking for help. I'm desperate. Please do something, say something, call in and give me optimism to make me feel better, because I always go back to NLCS Game 4, and after that, the Phillies still won some baseball games, and they were in a position, Game 6, Game 7 at home, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola at home, and I still felt like, okay, they can squeeze by, but after what happened in Game 4, I was never the same. And after what happened to the 49ers, I don't know if I will ever be the same again unless something is so monstrous. Like, if they do what the 49ers did to them, to the Cowboys on the road in that building, then I think you could put the pieces back together. I think then my entire heart will be back into one piece. That's what it will take. And if it's not that, well, then I'm still going to have this weird feeling. If they squeeze by, win by 1, they win 17-14, let's say they win by 3 in a weird grinded out game, and your special teams, it's a field goal late with 3 seconds to go, I'd be stoked to beat the Cowboys twice, especially in a season like this, and what that means for the NFC number 1 seed. I mean, I'd be stoked from that angle, but it wouldn't be enough to bring all those pieces and super glue it with Gorilla Glue again together. Does that make sense? That's sort of just where I'm at. But Hurts needs to play better. There's no denying that Jalen Hurts has to see the field better. He has to make quicker decisions. They need to establish run more. I can't see 9 carries or 8 carries. No, we have to keep plugging away. There's something to be said about wearing a defense down. All right? Find a way to get something established. You have the best offensive line in football. DeAndre Swift is damn good enough to run behind that. Get some concepts going where you dive deep into it, you rely heavy on it, and now these linebackers of Dallas and these defenders on Dallas, Michael Parsons, they're out there for a long time because you're milking these drives and they have to tackle you to the ground. And if you do that from quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, well, maybe halfway through quarter 3 when you're in the second half, there's fatigue because you've asked the other team to drag you to the ground. You know, like the Eagles can't even make a damn tackle, so it's so easy to get to the touchdown or to the end zone to score a touchdown. They don't know how to wrap up. Eli Pinky Ricks, remember, that's his nickname now because it only takes a pinky push for him to get his arms thrown off your body. It's a disgrace. But can you wear down that defense? And they have to get the run game more established. They just do. They do. We need to lean on it. This team works best when they have you pretty much on your heels guessing. Is it a pass? Is it a run? If it's constant dropbacks and looking for bombs, can you get A.J. Brown going? I think you can get shots off against their secondary. I've seen Bland get attacked. I've seen Bland get picked on. I've also seen some pick sixes as well with the Cowboys defense, but I'm just saying, come on now, with the emphasis that the other team has to probably put a lot of stock into Dallas Goedert, can that open up the floodgates for somebody else? The answer to me is yes, you should be able to. Now, there's all sorts of graphics about maybe the lack of motion with this offense and how this relates to maybe the year when Nick Sirianni had more of an input, and then before Shane Steichen became the head guy and became more of what we talked about with the flow of the offense. Yeah, I'm not surprised that we might be in a predicament where Nick Sirianni is too much and maybe too blah. Like, that's what makes the 49ers. I'll never forget this. I used to debate people all the time with Doug Peterson because the knock at the end with him was it was very vanilla. And I remember nonstop fighting people about, well, it doesn't matter if it's vanilla. If it worked, no, it does matter. It does matter. Why is Kyle Shanahan so successful? Guys are in motion. There's so much confusion. The Eagles were losing track of guys pre-snap. That means the 49ers are winning the matchup before the ball is even snapped into Brock Purdy's hands. Why can't we do more of that? Why can't we have the Cowboys shuffling, trying to talk to somebody? Now the ball snapped. Now they're looking around. They don't know what to do. And there's the middle of the field wide open because someone left their guy. Motion is important. You gotta get loose, get creative, get very unique. It throws everything off. Why can't we get those concepts more incorporated? Yeah, very vanilla, very stale. That catches up with you. It does. It makes it easier. What you're doing is helping out the opponent. Why would you make it easier for other teams' defensive coordinators?